Hello guys, welcome back for another video. As you can see, it is a bookish video today. I just wanted to come in, share my reviews on 3 reads, guys. In the past video, we had talked about my book club meeting, the book pick, which was The Never List by Jay Priestley. We went over that in the last vlog. And the bonus read, which is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. So those were the 2 books, guys. I did read The Never List, but the reason why, and I shared this with y'all in the last video, the reason why I didn't want to do the review just yet is because I wanted to start The Favorites, because this was our bonus book for the last book meeting. And I also had a book that Stacy had recommended to me, Love Requires Chocolate, that I also ended up reading. So we're just going to go over the books, guys. So the first 2 I'm going to go over The Favorites last, because I'm still currently reading The Favorites, guys. I did start it today. I did 2 hours reading. And with this book, guys, just because, okay, 2 of my book club buddies, they did read the book. Everybody in my book club did not read The Favorites because, like I said, this was the bonus pick. So everybody didn't get around to this book. But I still wanted to read it just because, number one, I had the book. Like, I had a physical copy of the book already. So I was like, I have the book, so I might as well go ahead and read it. But I have been hearing so many mixed reviews about it. So I'm diving into it, guys. I did immersive reading. I read 2 hours earlier, and I am on chapter 17, page 86. And the book is thick. The book is fairly thick. Let's see how many pages. 437, well, acknowledgments. 434 pages. But the pace I'm going, I am I did for the 2 hours I did dive into it. I felt like the speed, because usually with the Audible, guys, because I am doing immersive reading with this book, just because I've been hearing so many mixed reviews, I was like, let me go ahead and do immersive. And I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I'm doing it like that, because I feel like it is helping me with the pace of the book. And not only that, it is a lot of characters, and the writing style of the book is like, it goes back. It's like the present time, but it also goes back into like people from Katarina and Heath, which are the main 2 characters. Like, people are actually getting interviewed in the book too. So it's like kind of like a news podcast type of style, but it's also like a backstory, like as far as like their relationship and what they went through, in the skating world. Like, that story is being told also alongside with different interviews from people that they connected with. So very interesting so far. I see why there's so many mixed reviews on this, because like I said, I am doing immersive with this, but I feel like if I just would have did it just straight reading, I probably would have struggled with it at first, and I probably wouldn't have gotten on chapter 17. It probably would have took me a little bit longer to get through the book, but I will keep y'all updated. So far so good. I do plan on probably reading some more later. I ended up getting hungry, and I said I wanted to start this video. So but the plan is to read some more later on, because I do definitely want to have this book wrapped up, by the weekend. As for me, guys, today is Thursday, so I definitely want to, I don't want to dwell too long on this book, but I don't think it's going to be that case, because I am, so far so good. I'm really proud of myself for getting to chapter 17, because and I think that's something I'm going to start doing, guys. I'm going to just, usually like when I read, I don't set a time. I just be like, okay, I'm just going to just read until I get tired or whatever. But I feel like with thicker books like this, in order to like just keep up with the pace and not get overstimulated, I'm going to just do like a 2-hour mark from here on out, because of The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I did buy that book. Y'all, I shared that in the last vlog. But it is a very thick book. And even though I heard great things about it, I may do immersive reading on that one as well, just so it would help me with the flow better, because it's a thick one. It's a thick one. And I feel like with thicker books, I tend to get kind of overstimulated because I'm like, okay, that's a lot. So I'm going to like just pace myself with them kind of books. I'm going to give myself like a 2-hour mark when I do start them. And if I feel drawn or led to read more in that day with that particular book, then I will do so. But if I don't, it's okay. I'll pick it back up the next day or whatever. But I'm not going to like, I'm going to give myself grace basically. Like, I'm not going to feel bad just because I don't feel like reading more that day or whatever the case may be. And, you know, so yeah, so that is something, a new technique that I'm going to do, you know, with those particular books. If y'all have any like reading tips, like anything that y'all do, like any kind of rituals or, you know, just methods that help you get into the mood of reading, especially like when you don't really feel like reading per se, you know, please feel free to share any kind of tips, you know, that you may have. Okay, guys, so that was like my review. But overall, I am enjoying the book, guys. The book is messy. I don't know if this is considered a YA novel or not, but the main characters are 17-year-olds. So, and they're ice skaters, guys, you know. So, yeah, but the book is messy. The book is very messy so far. You know, it is very competitive. But I do, as I was sharing to Stacy, I had hit her up earlier to let her know that I was starting the book, because I know she is holding off her review because she wanted me to start it. So I was just sharing like some tidbits I noticed so far about the book, about the two main characters. They're very young. They both had rough childhoods. And they're both, there is some codependency going on there. So, but so far so good. You know, once I dive into it more, guys, I will give y'all a final update on this. So, The Neverlist by Jade Presley. I read this book into its entirety. I do know that they do have a second part coming out. I think it is part of a series. I don't think the second book has been released just yet. Don't quote me on that, but we were discussing it in the meeting. I think one of my book buddies said that there is a second book happening, but it isn't quite out yet. So The Neverlist, guys, was by Jade Presley, was one of my first books by this author. This book was definitely a why choose. I liked it overall. And it's been a while since I read a why choose, guys. As far as a spice level, I would give it maybe like a 3.5 out of 5. Like, you know, there was some spice in this book, but I have read books that are way more graphic, you know. So, yeah, spice level, I will give it a 3.5. Personal impact, probably like 0.1. Don't get me wrong, I did like the main character. I liked it, Riley. But I couldn't relate to her as far as like what was going on in the story. So, but that doesn't mean I didn't dislike her. I will say, overall, all of the characters are very likable except one of the kings, one of the fathers, Beto. I could not stand him. If you read the book, yeah. But overall, everybody else was like decent. Like there wasn't like anybody I detested except him. But yeah, guys, as far as my rating goes on this book, I would definitely give it a solid 4. Jade's writing style is very easy. And one thing about it, the fantasy, I don't read a lot of fantasy books, but the covers are always beautiful. And look at the And look at these are the male main characters, guys, in the books. You had Axel, which he represented the sapphire. Pierce represented emeralds. Jax represented black diamonds, and Cal represented rubies. And it's crazy because out of the male characters, Axel, which is him right here, he was my favorite. And it's crazy because sapphire is actually my birthstone. So reading just their different personalities in the books and the characteristics, and like I say, all of them were likable, guys. Even Jax, he was broody. Jax was very broody, but he was all right. I didn't dislike him. But Axel, I resonated with him more when it came down to the men, because not all of them was fine. So we can't just go off this looks, because all of them was fine as hell in the book. But personality wise, I was drawn more to him because like the author, she made him to be like just like fun, the adventurous, the humorous one. And I was telling my book buddies, nothing like a man that can make me laugh. Like, I love a good sense of humor in a man. So yeah, that really stuck out to me as far as like, the characters in this book. The kings, the fathers of the men in the book, like I said, they all were okay except for just one. Yeah, and I'm not gonna spoil it. Like I said, y'all have to read it for yourself. But I will say, I'm not a big fantasy reader, guys, but I gave this book a 4. Solid. I will recommend it. Definitely recommend it. And Love Requires Chocolate, Raven K. Stringfield. Stacy had let me borrow this book. She read it and she was like, yeah, I need you to read this, because she said when I was reading it, it made me think of you. And when I read it, I loved it, guys. I did read the synopsis in the last vlog, so I'm not gonna redo it. Please feel free to check out that video, because I did share my other reads that I'm going to be reading, and the purchases I had got from the bookshop when when our meeting occurred. So please feel free to check out that video. Love Requires Chocolate, guys. It's a YA novel, and it's also Raven's debut novel. I love this book. It was so cute. It was fast paced. I finished it in 2 days, and I gave it a 5 out of 5. As far as the character, Whitney Curry, the main character, I resonated with her so much when it came down to just like her personal style, the fine arts, stuff she was into, like the vintage, like old school soul personality she had. Yeah, there were so many things that I loved about the main character that, I could relate to. And when she moved to Paris, because like the setting, she's like she's a student, guys, and she spends this semester abroad, and she has to come up with this play. But not only that, Paris is out of her comfort zone, because obviously she's not, like, so there were times like in the book, like in the middle, like she started feeling homesick. She started feeling like homesick, missing her friends, back home, missing her mom, missing her grandmother, like just, going through typical things as a person that isn't in new surroundings. And it made me think about when I was younger and I had lived in Ohio, and I lived in Ohio for almost 4 years, but I just remember when I first moved up there, like just the homesickness. And like in this book, it took her a while to like just really connect with people, like natural connections, like making friends. And I'll never forget, that's how I felt when like moving to a new state, not really knowing a lot of people. And it took me a minute to build like organic relationships, because like I say, I'm not the one to fake the funk. I'm not going to sit up here. That's something that can't be forced, guys. So it took me a while to, really make friends, and like reading about it, like just reading the story, it just took me back into that time. And I was like, yeah, I feel you, my girl. I definitely feel you. But Like I said, guys, for this to be her debut novel, Raven did an amazing job. I gave this book a 5 out of 5. It is a page turner. Like I said, very, very short. 271 pages, and it took me 2 days to read this. So I would definitely recommend this book, guys. And like I say, this is it for this section of the vlog, guys. I will be back with a update on the favorites. Okay. Hi guys, I am back to do my final review on the favorites and to just wrap up this video. So as I mentioned, I was going to come back, give a short final review on the favorites. I am still halfway through on this book because it is a thick one, guys. But it's okay, because even though I'm halfway through, I already know what I'm going to rate this book. I am going to finish it. But it's okay, as far as me, my overall rating is a 3.5. Because, and the reason why I gave it like a mid rating is because I found myself like really struggling to connect with the characters in this book. And it's a lot of characters, guys. For example, like I did immersive reading with this book, and I'm not exactly sure how many narrators it is like in total, but it's a lot of narrators because there are a lot of characters in this book. Now, Lane Fargo, I will say what I found was neat. The whole news like podcast type of format. I really did enjoy that part, and because I was doing immersive reading, of course they had different narrators for the different characters. So I liked that part of the book. But as far as like Katarina and Heath, which are the main two characters, it was like the author, okay, it was like Katarina is like growing in the book because obviously she wants to make it to the championship. She wants to be this well-known skater. Like she wants to go gold. She wants, she wants the medal. She wants, she wants it. As compared to Heath, like, yeah, they may be compatible like on the ice and off the ice because they definitely do have chemistry, but I felt like the two main characters were very codependent on each other, especially, well, more so Heath. And I understand. I get it. I get that y'all grew up together. Y'all both had rough childhoods, so it was just like, you're my shoulder to lean on and I'm your shoulder to lean on. I understand that completely. But how deep and heavy the codependency is, it does affect them in the book. So it's like Heath, like basically I felt like Heath, his whole attitude in the book is just like, he like, he wants to succeed, like he wants it, but he don't want it like her. Like Katarina is willing to go above and beyond, and he's just like, I'm only here because of you. I'm only here because of the way I feel about you and because you want it. And I'm just like, yeah. And then on top of that, I couldn't connect with the characters the way I wanted to. Don't get me wrong, like Katarina, like my heart went out to her and Heath. But I just couldn't connect with any of the characters, guys. And it was a lot of characters. And I don't know if it's because of their age, because they are like 17, 8-year-olds. Like the main characters are like 17, 18. So they're like, they're fairly younger than I am. And I don't know if that's the reason why. Like, I'm not even sure if this is a YA novel, if it's an adult. I'm really not sure what to even, put this category in, Because I wouldn't say it was a YA novel as far as like Spice or whatever, no. But they do, they were cursing a little bit in the book. So I wouldn't necessarily say this is a YA novel. So yeah, guys, that's my overall rating, a 3.5, and I simply gave it a you know, a mid rating is because I'm still just, it was just hard for me to connect with the characters. The storyline is good. Of course, it's messy and you get to hear different perspectives from different people, but I just really couldn't resonate with any of the characters. So, yeah, that's that. And actually, this book, when we had did a Boo Basket a couple of months ago, um I picked up this book because I had been hearing, you know, mixed reviews about it from y'all. So that's the reason that's what made me go ahead and get a copy for the Boo Basket when me and my book buddies had switched. And two of my book buddies, because like I said, this was a past bonus read from our previous book club. But I hadn't gotten around to it during that time, so I was like, let me go ahead and just read it since it was the bonus book. But two of my book buddies, they were about to DNF this book. Like, I think one of my buddies, like, she was like 100 something pages in, and she was like, I just can't get with it. She's like, I'm about to, but I don't think she did immersive reading with it. I think she was just like reading like just straight paperback. And I do feel like if I just would have read it straight paperback, like compared to me doing immersive reading, I probably would have struggled also, like in the beginning of the book. I'm not gonna even hold y'all. I'm not gonna even lie. But yeah, two of my book club buddies was about to DNF this book, guys. So I was like, So that's another reason why I just wanted to go in and see for myself. And yeah. But I'm not gonna say it's terrible. It's not a terrible book. Would I recommend it? If you like, because I know they have another is it the Daisy Six, Taylor Reed Jenkins, I think that's the author's name. Don't quote me on that, guys. But I think she also, a lot of people like those kind of books, like just like the drama, or like, you know, when it comes to like particular sports or like the music world or whatever the case may be. So if you like stories like that, you probably would like this book. You probably would like it. But yeah, it was just mid for me. Would I read something else by Lane Fargo? I would. I would. I'm not exactly, I know she got, they said she got some psychological thrillers. So, and the crazy part is those might I might like those a little bit better, because just off the simple fact that thriller is one of my favorite genres. So maybe if I do read something else by her, it would be just a different genre, guys. But overall, I gave The Favorites a 3.5 stars. So yeah, guys, that's the end of this video. Just wanted to come in and just give a, you know, final and fair review. So I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.